Hello farmers, you're welcome back to our YouTube channel. With the increment of feed ingredients and the increment of already made feed price, with the cost of feed and the cost of things that have already affected the price of fish too, the price of juvenile you buy, the price of fingerlings you buy, the price of post fingerlings you buy, or maybe yours is jumbo size. So with what have affected it, with the price inflation, with the cost of everything, the cost of feed, the cost of buying maybe flesh like intestine, or buying if you are getting an hatch, or you are getting something like mortality maybe from the poultry, from the hatchery. What is the cost of rearing 1,000 pieces of catfish nowadays? For example, how much are you going to spend on 1,000 pieces of catfish that you are going to earn money? You are going to get that in this video, but before that, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell to get notified when next we drop another content for you. Before we continue, I would like to give you a simple idea on how you can arrange on feeding your catfish. Just a simple idea from day one to the ending day, like from day one to the last day, to your table size. Maybe if you get yours from juvenile size, maybe post fingerlings or fingerlings, whichever size you get, and your intention is to rear them to something like that 4 to 5 months. Now, like, how are you going to feed it? How many bags of feed, like floating feed, how many bags of floating feed are you going to use? And also, how many kg of local feed are you going to use, if at all you are getting local feed? And how much are you going to spend on them? So this is all I want you to know in this very video before you go into the fish farming again. Maybe you are already out of it and you needed an idea of how much you can spend these days. Sometimes ago you can spend like 250,000 on some number of catfish, like 1,000 pieces of catfish. So 250,000 will be enough to rear them to table size. It gets to some point that something like 300 will be enough. 300,000 will be enough for table size, to rear them to table size, if you have 1,000 pieces of catfish in your fish pond. But these days things have changed, and I am here to give you the new idea, to give you update on how much you are going to spend and how many bag of feed you are going to use for them. My name is Simeon. I am your young farmer. All I deal with most is catfish, and I've been in this business for a very long time too. So let me quickly share the idea with you. If you have your catfish inside your pond, if you have 1,000, now I'm giving you idea on 1,000. Now if you want to rear more than 1,000, all you have to do is to to multiply what I'm giving you by the number of the ones you are willing to stock. You use all the idea I give you on 1,000, you multiply it by 2. Whatever thing I give you on 1,000, you multiply it by 2, so you are going to get what you needed for the 2,000 pieces of catfish you want to stock. But let's talk only on the one of 1,000. On 1,000 pieces of catfish, you are going to need, if you get them from juvenile size, you are going to buy 2 but I do like to advise some of us, it is better you give them 1.8. 1.8 will help boost their growth very well. Even though you can't give them much, just give them at least 15 kg. I think a bag of the floating feed, the bag is not less than 15 kg. So give them 15 kg, let them eat, because the fish are going to get to, they are not going to be rhyme. If they take 1.8, there is 100% possibility that some of the fish that are not up to the juvenile size are going to grow up to that level, because they are able to eat the feed that best size their mouth. So feed them at least 15 kg of 1.8. Then you feed them with 2 bags of 2 that is 30 kg, and also feed them with 2 bags of 3 that is another 30 kg. Possibly feed them with 2 bags or 1 bag of 4 After that, you can now change to local. And if you don't have any choice, like you can't get local feed, It is better you feed them throughout. You graduate to the one of 6 mm and you keep on buying it until you rear them to the size you want to rear them to the table size. Talking on the one of diverting from local, because local will help you reduce the cost of feed. I'm telling you the truth. Local will help you reduce the cost of feed. Although due to the increment of things, the local feed too, the money is high, but it's not up to the one of floating feed. So you are going to need like ton 1 ton of local feed. After the 15 plus another 15, possibly, or another 30, you are going to need up to 1 ton of the local feed. So 1 ton now is 1000 kg of local feed. For those who deals with poultry, you should all know that there is something we call grower in poultry business when it comes to their feed. And there is the one we call the starter, there is the one we call finisher. The same thing applies to the one of catfish. We have starter, then we have grower, then we have finisher. Your starter has to do with a lot of protein. Your finisher have many things to do with energy, just energy throughout. That doesn't mean you are not going to add protein or anything fat to the ingredients. You are going to add to it, but what you are going to use the most should be maize. And if you can get gari in addition, put it. And also don't forget, dough too is one of the things that will help you to balance the equation when it comes to energy giving food or anything finisher in catfish. Now, how much are you going to spend over the 1000, like buying the juvenile fish and also buying the floating feed and also buying the one of sinking feed, which is the local feed? How much are you going to spend put together on 1000 pieces of catfish? Now, like I always tell you, we have two breeds of catfish. Your choice may be hybrid and another person's choice may be clearance, or somebody doesn't have the idea of getting hybrid around him or her and the person have no choice than to get the clearance. Now it just varies, so whichever one you have, I'll give you different idea on both. On clearance, you are not going to spend less than 400,000. Like I told you, I said before, when things aren't this costly, we are spending up to 250,000 naira. Then sometimes it was 300,000 naira, 1000 pieces of catfish. But now due to increment of everything, so the price, the cost, so the amount you are going to spend on 1000 pieces of clearance catfish is 400,000. At least you may not spend up to that, but consider spending between 350 to 400,000 if it's not more than that. But let's assume the total amount of money is 400,000. And how much are you going to spend on hybrid? If you spend like 400,000 on clearance, be sure you are going to spend between 500 to 600,000 on 1000 pieces of hybrid, because hybrid eats much more than the one of clearance, and they may likely take more than 1 ton, that is 1000 kg. Hybrid may likely take more than that amount of kg. So that is that about the amount of money you are going to use to spend on both. At what month should you feed them with different sizes? You can feed your catfish when you get them at juvenile size. The first week, feed them with the 1.8. The second week, 2 mm. The third week, 2 mm. Once they reach that 3 weeks, you can give them 3 mm. 3 mm is not that big, so you can give them 3 mm. They will take it. 3 mm too for something like 2 weeks. So after that 2 weeks, you can graduate to the one of 4 mm. From 4 mm, if they reach up to one month and some weeks, or getting up to 2 months, go to feed me and pelletize your 4 mm local for them. They are going to take it conveniently. So that is just all about it if you want to make money. Like for instance, some people do ask me, how much will I make if I spend such an amount of money on such number of catfish? Well, everything depends on the way you handle your fish. It depends on how much you spend, how rich your feed are, and how often you feed them. So it is not a problem. You can feed your fish once in a day when they started eating local, but make sure they eat enough feed. They eat enough feed, like they will eat and they will be satisfied, and that is enough for a whole day. And for instance, now if you don't have much money to spend, you can exclude a day in a week, a day off. Just leave them Let them just play throughout that day, drink water, they will find something to eat inside the water, so you just forget about that. So the second day you still continue and feed them, just to boycott the cost again. So it won't reduce anything, it won't cost anything to your fish are not going to die, they won't lose weight. So take that and let that sink in. So they are not going to lose weight. You can just do that to at least elongate the feed you have available for them. Back to how much you can get. Claras will give you 50% of the return of how much you spend on your catfish. Claras will give you 50% return, and hybrid possibly will give you between 80 to 100% of the return. So if you maintain and take care of them very, very well, they are going to bring good profit for you. That is all about the video. Like the video, share, and drop a comment, and also don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much.